The Vatican's Doctrine office says an adult who identifies as transgender can receive the sacrament of baptism under the same conditions as any adult, as long as there's no risk of causing scandal or confusion to other Catholics. According to the Vatican, any children or adolescents experiencing transgender identity issues may also receive baptism if well prepared and willing. These answers are a response to questions from Brazilian Bishop Giuseppe Negri posed to the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith. The Dicastery's response is signed by the Vatican's Doctrine chief, Cardinal Victor Fernandez, and by Pope Francis. And here now to explain this and more is Dr. John Grabowski, moral theologian at the Catholic University of America and author of the book Unraveling Gender, The Battle Over Sexual Difference. Dr. Grabowski, good to be with you today. So tell us, is this news a shift from church teaching?
Great to be with you, Tracy. And the short answer is no. The church has always taught that under certain conditions and properly disposed, anyone can receive baptism. Justin Martyr in the 2nd century said that to be admitted to baptism, a person had to show sorrow for sin, accept the church as the teacher of truth, and already give evidence of change of life or conversion. So someone who's struggling with discordant gender identity, who manifests those things, should be welcomed for baptism in the church, because as Pope Francis says, it's the door to the other sacraments.
Yeah, and there was also a question about whether people who identify as transgender or are in a same-sex relationship, if they can be godparents. How did the Vatican respond to that?
The Vatican said that they could, again, under certain conditions, right? And the document reminds us that canon law teaches that to be a godparent, a person should be someone who lives a life of faith in keeping with the function that they're taking on. In other words, the role of a godparent is to help the parents in raising the child in the faith. If a person who's struggling with same-sex attraction or discordant gender identity, who's really trying to live their Christian faith, can be of assistance to parents in that way.
John, we have about a minute or so, but I do want to ask you this. I mean, how much of a burden do you think this may place on the average parish priest who has to discern, which cases will cause scandal or not?
It's a great question. I think if you talk to a lot of parish priests, that's exactly their concern, that the father's going to be asked to play Solomon and to try to walk the line between we don't want to drive people away from the church, but we don't want to cause scandal either. But I think priests, but also parents, need to be reminded that the church teaches us that parents are the primary educators of children in the faith. So it's parents' responsibility to choose people to be godparents of their children who are going to do that, not just make choices about, well, we don't want to offend Aunt Jean by not including her, or who's going to give the best gifts to our children. The role of a godparent is to help parents pass on the faith to their children.
Yeah. Dr. John Grabowski, thank you so much for coming on and sorting this all out for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.